have you ever wondered what the professionals think about communicable disease? Well, for today's documentary video, we're going to ask 3 professionals from different agencies.
Good morning, everyone. I am Angelica Parachel.
And I am Real Thomas Taunera. Now let's start this interview.
Let's call out Maria Jessie Glenn Evangelista
To lead the introduction and answering for our first guest.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to interview a nursing student. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Hannah Tagam, a nursing student from UERM Batch 2025.
Thank you. Okay, now, for our first question is, in your own opinion, what is infection?
Infection. So, infection is an invasion and growth of germs in the body.
Thank you for that answer. Our next question is, how can pathogen produce disease?
Pathogens cause disease. First, they enter your body and then they go or travel into a specific site or specific location where they will replicate and establish the infection. There, they damage the tissues, they produce the toxins, and eventually they will invade the immune system and evade the immune response of the host.
That is very interesting if you ask me. Now, let's proceed to our next question. There are many infections that can enter your body. If you could think or something, what is the worst infection that people could hardly cure?
As I can think of something, it's antibiotic resistant bacterial infection. So when you have bacterial infection, an antibiotic will be prescribed and given to you by your physician. So ano ba yung antibiotic? So what does antibiotic do? It kills bacteria and also prevents them from spreading. So when the bacteria you have is resistant to it, it will be hard and it can spread more.
Our next question is, how can people prevent infection?
So people can prevent infections by having good personal hygiene. When you always wash your hands or bring your alcohol with you and do the hand rubbing, and when you wear your mask, then there you can prevent yourself from having infections.
Well, thank you for that answer. Okay, now, the next question is, how can communicable disease start?
So, when it spread from a person to another, then there it starts. Through fluids, blood contact, airborne or insect bites. When the cells in your body is damaged, then there it's the result of the infection, and then there it starts.
Oh, so that is how it starts. Thank you for that answer. The next question is, how can communicable disease spread from a small population to a large population that can possess a danger?
So, if not prevented, one can pass a disease to another. So, it can spread when you have contact with an infected person. So, let's say only a small population have the disease, but they go to some places, or like they're in with contact with people, let's say skin to open wounds, skin to skin, or droplets, yung sneeze, yon, or sexual intercourse, there many people will get infected too, or will get the disease too.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that answer. Now, let's proceed to the next question. What can be the easiest prevention of communicable diseases?
For this, you have to boost your immune system. So, protect yourself with healthy habits. Eat right. Again, wash your hands and get vaccinated as much as possible. limit yourself from having skin-to-skin contact, and don't do unprotected sex.
Thank you for that answer. Okay, so our next question is, what is the differences of epidemic and pandemic?
So, epidemic, it affects large number within a community lang, or a region, or a population. So, let's say, dito lang sa Philippines, or dito lang sa Luzon. Pandemic naman, it affects multiple countries or continents, like the COVID. So, it affected multiple countries, so it's called pandemic.
Look like that they are the same based on your answer, but anyways, thank you for that answer. Okay, now the next question. A direct transmission is done through direct person-to-person contact, such as kisses, touching, blood transfusion, or sexual intercourse. In your opinion, what do you think about this transmission?
Do you think about this transmission? So, these transmission are things that we can easily prevent from doing to be safe. So, the given transmissions, the examples of direct transmissions, if we limit ourselves from not doing it, diba? We can be safe and not get infected at all.
That's a good answer. Thank you for that. Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. There are two other transmission, which is called airborne and vector-borne. If you have read about them, which of them are what you were having on thinking about? Explain why.
So, I just think it's it's still indirect transmission, because the contact is not from person to person. The contact is from a person to a medium, or let's say a contaminated object, then from the contaminated object to another person. Though the pathogen is still transferred from a person to another person, there is a medium in between. Parang may third party kung paano na ipasa yung pathogens. Nowadays, we are preventing ourselves from COVID, which is an airborne, meaning it can be transmitted through small droplets. Now, that's why when we go out, or when we ride the LRT, we should refrain from talking to another person when we're wearing masks na. Yeah. So, what is hepatitis? So, hepatitis is inflammation of the liver.
I'm sure that a lot of students watching this right now will learn a lot from you. Thank you for that answer. Okay, now, next question. What is hepatitis?
Airborne means transmitted to small drops. So, it happens when we sneeze, laugh, or cough. Or when we're talking to another person. Vector-borne is transmitted to humans through these blood-feeding arthropods, or which we know are insects, fleas, ticks. We can get dengue and malaria, or vector-borne transmitted diseases.
I'm sure that a lot of students watching this right now will learn a lot from you. Okay, for our next 3 questions, what is hepatitis and its chemical and its symptoms?
What are its chemicals? So, here if you're asking about what can cause liver damage, or what chemicals cause the liver damage, it's tetrachloride and vinyl chloride. But if you're pertaining to the chemical that is in the liver, it is bile. It is a chemical that aids, it's like an aid to turn fats into energy. So, what are symptoms of hepatitis? So, when you have hepatitis, more likely you will experience pain or bloated on your belly area, you will appear to be jaundice. Or when we say jaundice, it means you have yellowish skin or eyes. Madalas na jaundice nakikita sa mga baby. Pero, yun, when a grown-up person appears to be yellowish, be it on their skin or on their eyes, then probably they have to visit the doctor. When you experience fatigue or dark urine also, and loss of appetite and nausea and vomiting. If you have those symptoms and have symptoms, maybe one or two or all at once, then there you should visit a doctor.
Thank you. If you ever had these symptoms, you better go to the doctor for safety. Okay, now let's proceed to our next question. What are some examples of communicable disease? Give at least two and their definition.
So, first that I have in mind is HIV, which is human immunodeficiency virus. So, it attacks the body's immune response, and then it makes a person more transmitted to unprotected sex, mother-to-child transmission, and sharing of needles. So, yun, be safe with that. Refrain yourself from doing those things. And then another one is TB, or what we also know as tuberculosis. So, TB is a disease. It is bacterial infection that mainly affects the lungs, and it can also kasi spread in other parts of the body. It can be spread through inhaling any droplets from cough or disease of an infected person.
Thank you for your answer. The next question is, what is one of the worst communicable disease?
So for me, what is one of the worst communicable disease in mine? Influenza. So it can affect the nose, throat, and sometimes the lung. It can cause mild to severe illness, and sometimes it can lead to death.
Thank you for that answer. So the next question is, once vaccinated, you can't get disease again? Is this true? Explain.
I will never get tired of saying this, but wash your hands. Always wash your hands, kasi our hands, we do a lot of things with our hands. Parang it's one of the dirtiest body part of us. Diba? Ang dami mong hawakan. You hold the door, you hold your fork, tapos lalapit mo sa mukha mo. So, always wash your hands. And entry din kasi yung anywhere, diba? So, yun. Eat and prepare healthy foods. And, ayun, nowadays, wear your mask and get vaccinated. So, what are some agencies in charge of communicable disease prevention that you could recommend to others? At DOH, they have Disease Prevention and Control Bureau. I think they also release PubMats on how one can wash their hands, ganyan, ano dapat kakainin, ganyan. Other medical institutions or hospitals, they have these seminars about disease prevention. So, if you're like quite interested, I suggest you look for one na merong ongoing or may event sila na gano'n.
Thank you, Jessie, for that, and thank you din sa guest natin.
Well, I hope that you learn a lot from our guests, because for sure this next guest will also give a pretty good answer.
Yes, that's right. Please welcome our second guest for today, and Tiffany will assist us.
Good morning, everyone. I am Tiffany Joy de la Cruz, and for our second guest, let her introduce herself.
I am Glenda Evangelista, 39 years old. I was graduated at Camarines Sur State Agricultural College with the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agroforestry. After I graduated in 2005, I worked at the Camarines Sur Provincial Capital in the Department of Agriculture 3 years. Then after that, I went here, Taytay Rizal, and then I also worked at the Municipal Agriculture Office here in Taytay Rizal.
Welcome po, Mrs. Evangelista. For our first question is, what were you doing when you went to work here on Taytay?
Sa agriculture, nagbabakuna kasi kami noon ng mga aso. Tapos, may mga, pag may mga tree planting, ganyan.
Oh, I see. So, how can vaccinating a dog save or protect a person?
Oo, yung sa aso, yung binabakuna, yung sa anti-rabies yun. Yung para wag nang kumalat yung mga rabies ng aso. Na magiging harmful sa mga tao din. Kasi ang rabies nakakamatay kasi yun.
Well, for me, that is surprising. Anyways, if you ever got bitten by a dog, is that an infection?
Oo. Kasi pag yung rabies ng aso na punta sa katawan ng tao, sa dugo, may infect na yung nakagat. Kunyari, yung nakakagat may rabies, kakalat na yun sa katawan ng tao. Pag kumalat yun, tapos nakarating sa utak, yun, pwedeng mamatay na. Tapos hindi na naalis yun, yung rabies. Pag napasok na sa katawan ng tao, hindi na natatanggal yun, kahit anong gamot.
Well, I guess that is an infection. But how can we prevent it?
Rabies, anti-rabies, pwede namang makano yun. Pero pag talagang sobrang lala na, at nakaano na sa utak, hindi nakakayanin yun. Hindi na kayang patayin yung rabies.
Well, thank you for that answer. So, the next question is, can you give an example of viruses that comes from an animal and can infect a human being?
Blood, kaya nga may mga checkpoint na ginagawa ang sa Department of Agriculture sa animals para kunyari may mga papasok na yung mga manok, mga ibon, inaharang na nila, sinecheck para hindi na kung kunyari galing sa ibang lugar tapos pupunta sa Maynila, yun, para hindi na makapasok.
Bird flu? Well, I don't really know what is that. What is bird flu and how can we prevent?
Yung sa mga naman yun, sa mga mga ibon, sa mga manok. Doon, kasi yun, yung mga yung ibon, mga manok, yun ang talagang nila, virus na dala-dala nila. Kasi yan, galing ibang bansa yan eh. Ngayon, pag halimbawa nakapasok dito sa Pilipinas, yung bird flu, tapos nakaano sa mga ibon, tas kaya mga manok, o kaya yung livestock, tas nakain ng tao, yung virus na yun, mapupunta sa tao, magkakasakit ang tao. Kasi virus yan eh, na pwede ring ikamatay ng tao.
Thank you for that answer. Okay, let's proceed to the next question. What is your opinion about communicable disease?
Mape-prevent yun sa pamamagitan ng halimbawa, kung yung isang hayop na suspetsahan na mayroon na siyang sakit, ang gagawin mo, isi-segregate mo siya. Pag hindi mo siya hindi mo siya halubilo dun sa ibang mga hayop na walang sakit para wag na kumalat pa. Yun yung pagkalat ng sakit na maramihan na. Kumbaga, minsan hindi na lang 2, 3, maramihan talaga.
Okay, so what is pandemic?
Yung katulad nung COVID. Pandemic yun kasi lahat ng sa buong mundo apektado.
Yes, that is true. COVID-19 is a pandemic that can destroy many lives and kill a lot of people. Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. How can the Department of Agriculture prevent communicable disease?
Naman talaga sa sa pagsahayop, sa agriculture. Kasi sa agriculture, sakop na yan ang sa animals, sa mga crops, under na yan ng agriculture. Pero may mga ginagawang hakbang din ng Department of Agriculture dyan para ma-prevent na yung mga communicable disease sa mga hayop.
Oh, thank you for that answer. Okay, so now that you have any idea of what is pneumonia, can you tell us what it is?
Kaya kasi, ang unang-unang inaatake yung baga ng tao. Kasi ang pneumonia pag napabayaan, pwedeng ikamatay. Para din lang itong Tapos sabi, pag lumala yung pneumonia, ang mapupunta na yun sa TB, tuberculosis. Nagkakaroon ng spot doon sa baga. Parang magkakaroon na ng sugat yung baga ng tao.
How can we prevent pneumonia?
May mga gamot naman na nabibili na pwedeng gumaling yung sakit ng pneumonia. Available na naman na to. Basta wag lang papabayaan. Gagaling naman.
Thank you for that answer. I'm sure a lot of people will learn or had an idea what is pneumonia. So the next question is, once vaccinated, can you get disease again?
Mga bakuna, hindi naman talaga 100% yan na garantisadong hindi ka ma-infect. Kasi yan, mga ginagawang hakbang lang yan para, kumbaga, labanan yung virus sa katawan. Kumbaga, gumagawa ng para huwag kang dapuan ng mga paraan lang. Pero hindi naman talaga totally, lalo na pag mahina-hina ang resistensya. Kakapitan ka din lang naman ng virus. Pero, mas advantage pa rin yung may bakuna. Kasi may panlaban ka na dun sa virus. Kaysa dun sa wala.
Thank you for that answer. So, you're working at the agriculture and kasama dun yung mga plants din, di ba? Is there a plant that can help when you are sick?
Meron naman yung mga herbal na mga gamot. Kunyari, halimbawa yung guyabano. Yung guyabano daw magaling yun kasi kahoy yun. Fruit bearing tree. Yung prutas nun, madami daw binibigay na na benepisyo sa katawan tapos may mga gamot pa yun, lalo na yung dahon ng guyabano pag nilaga. Tapos iinumin yung tubig. Nakakagaling daw yun sa sa ubo. Basta madaming sakit na ano nun na cure na gagaling, papagaling niya. Bunga ng mahogani. Magaling din daw yun panggamot. Kasi mapait yun.
Thank you for that answer. Okay, now the second question is, can you give an example of communicable disease?
Communicable disease, yun yung mga sakit na yung pwedeng mailipat. Transferable, kunyari, kahit sa kahit sa hayop saka sa animal, ang mga sakit nila pwede namang mailipat. Lalo na pag nakahalubilo. Kunyari, yung mga hayop may sakit, tapos nakihalubilo siya sa kapwa niya hayop, pwede ring makailipat yun.
Oh, I see. So, how can we prevent communicable disease?
Rabies vaccination, mga ano lang yun, parang prevention. Parang ano wag pumasok yung rabies sa katawan. Galing sa aso o kaya sa mga pusa.
Thank you, Miss Evangelista and Tiffany.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so now for our last guest, John Clarence Cinco is going to lead us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Clarence Cinco, and for today's last guest, I will let him introduce himself.
Hello, good morning. This is Doc JJ. So I'll be answering questions from my nephew.
Thank you, sir. So let us begin our interview. The first question is, in your opinion, what is infection?
An infection occurs when a microorganism enters a person's body and causes harm. Infection can spread in a variety of ways, either bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. That's the different types of pathogens. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so our next question is, how could pathogens produce disease?
Pathogens can spread in a number of different ways, including via direct contact, water, or air. Different pathogens can be spread by different mechanisms. For example, malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes, cholera is transmitted via water, and HIV is transmitted via body fluids.
Wow. Thank you for that wonderful answer, sir. So our next question is, there are many infections that could enter your body. If you could think of something, what is the worst infection that people could hardly cure?
Based on my experience, meningitis is a rare infection that affects the delicate membranes called meninges. That's why it's called meningitis. The meninges covers the brain and spinal cord. That part is the most crucial part of a person's body. The bacteria that cause meningitis can spread when people who are infected of cough or sneeze.
That is so sad to see that people can hardly cure that infection. But for now, let us proceed to our next question. How could people prevent infections?
Wash your hands well. You probably wash your hands after using the bathroom, before preparing or eating your food, and after gardening or other dirty tasks. That's why hand washing is very important. You should also wash up after blowing your nose, coughing, sneezing, feeding or stroking your pet, or visiting or caring a sick person. Wet your hands thoroughly. Lather up with soap or cleanser, and rub it in the palms and backs of your hands and your wrists. While when you're performing hand washing, just sing a happy birthday song. Okay? After you sing the happy birthday song, then you're done doing your hand washing. Be sure to clean also your fingertips, under your nails, and between your fingers. Rinse under running water, dry your hands, and rinse thoroughly.
I hope that people will follow this to prevent infections. The next question is, how can a communicable disease start?
A communicable disease is one that is spread from person to another through a variety of ways that include the contact with blood and bodily fluids, breathing in an airborne virus, or being bitten by an insect.
Oh, thank you for that answer. Our next question is, what is one of the worst communicable diseases and why?
Diseases spread more quickly among people who live in close proximity to each other. With more people living in dense condition, there is more frequent between more individuals, allowing disease transmission to easily occur.
Thank you for that answer. I'm sure that people will try to avoid this. Okay, so our next question is, what can be the easiest way to prevent communicable diseases?
This is very important, okay? Wash your hands often. As what I've said earlier, wash your hands properly. Washing with regular soap and rinsing with running water, followed by thorough drying, is considered the most important way to prevent disease transmission.
Well, thank you for your answer. So let us proceed to the next question. What is the difference of epidemic and pandemic?
Epidemic are an unexpected, often sudden increase of a specific illness within a community or region. Pandemics are when an epidemic occurs worldwide, crossing international borders and affecting a large number of people.
Thank you for your answer. I hope a lot of people watching this will learn a lot from you. Okay, so our next question is, a direct transmission is done through direct person-to-person contact, such as kissing, touching, blood transfusion, or sexual intercourse. In your opinion, what do you think about this transmission?
Direct transmission. Diseases spread exclusively by direct contact or unable to survive for significant periods of time away from host.
Thank you for your answer. The next question is, why do you think it is called indirect transmission when the pathogen is transferred from one person to another indirectly it occurs?
When the pathogen is transferred from one person to another indirectly occurs. Indirect contact transmission refers to situations where a susceptible person is infected from contact with a contaminated surface. Some organisms, on my answers as a Norwalk virus, are capable of surviving on surfaces for an extended period of time. To reduce transmission by indirect contact, frequent touch surfaces should be properly disinfected.
Thank you for that, John Clarence answer.
Yes, we all learned a lot from our three guests.
Now you mentioned it. Do you learn from those three guests?
Yes, I learned a lot, just like what is pneumonia and how can we prevent it. I also learned how can pathogens produce disease, and the last one is how can prevent communicable disease.
Wow, that's great. I also learned a lot, just like we should always wash our hands and always listen to those people who study about this kind of disease for safety.
But I also want to know what those who ask questions learn.
Yes, can you tell us what you learned, Jessie, Tiffany, and John?
So, if you ask me what I learned from interviewing those three professionals, I learned that maghugas tayo lagi ng kamay, of course, eat healthy food, and natutunan ko rin yung mga symptoms at kung ano ang hepatitis, syempre. And doon din sa interview na yun, natutunan ko na
By now, I have learned the symptoms of hepatitis and how to prevent communicable diseases, and also the difference of epidemic and pandemic.
Well, that is a lot if you ask me, but I also wanted to know what other people learned.
Well, I learned what is hepatitis is its symptoms. I also learned how we can prevent communicable disease, and the last one is the different plants that can use as medicine.
Yes, same. I also learned that too and the differences between pandemic and epidemic. Furthermore, I learned about different types of communicable diseases. Well, it's good to know that they learn a lot from this documentary video.
Yes, I'm also glad, but this is where the documentary films end. I hope you learn a lot from this video. Until next time, bye!
Goodbye, everyone.